So, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're visiting something that's quite deep into prediction markets, and that's with TotemFi. And these folks, they've been passionately developing this product for such a long time. And one thing that stood out about both Jolly and Harry, who's on their interview today, is that they are one of the most passionate and driven people in the space. And this is why I'm also, of course, an advisor for the project, because I want to see them succeed. And there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of innovation behind Totem, especially what they're doing coming up. So especially with something called the Mooncaster. So you guys definitely need to find out what that is throughout the later half of the interview. We're going to talk everything about what's going to come up. So first of all, first and foremost, Harry and Jolly, thank you. Welcome to the channel.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us, Michael. We've been big fans for years. And we've really appreciated all your help so far. So it's great to meet your community and tell them a little bit more about TotemFi.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us on, Michael. Every conversation with you so far has been a lot of gems of knowledge. So hopefully we can pay that back.
I have to make sure we don't get into APY farming and actually talk about TotemFi.
This guy knows everything there is to know.
I was like grilling them on rates and everything. So first of all, foremost, let's start out with what you're passionate. Like, what are you building here in Totem?
Yeah, I mean, we're so passionate about crypto, and like this is, we live in. Sometimes people think we bleed Bitcoin. Basically, I was back at uni in 2011 that I was messing around with Bitcoin on the internet, and it was 2 years later that I was running a music festival and I had a job at a VC to help pay the bills, and they were like, "Oh, you're young," and that's when I met Paul Gordon and ran my first sort of Bitcoin event. And that was the real penny drop moment. That was the moment where I was like, wow, this absolutely makes sense. And of course, I told everyone about it and went all in. And of course, the next day, bang, 90% drop. Welcome to crypto. So I was a little bit embarrassed for two years. But of course, the passion has carried on. And, the last sort of three years worked in exchange as an early marketing member. And we've gone from 1 million to 7 million customers. So working in it all time. I'm so bullish on the space and so excited to hopefully bring our own product to market.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously I'm Harry's brother, and he sort of pushed me into or prompted me into the crypto space back in 2013-14. Some tough crypto winters in there, but it's all brotherly love in the end. So it's good stuff. I have a bit more of a traditional finance background, so working in corporate international tax, but now kind of like excited to be contributing to the space in the blockchain community with TotemFi. And I think sort of building that resilience of that clarity of purpose, that's what's going to help us get through, in these bull runs, it's tiring, but I mean, I think we really believe in hopefully what we're going to be delivering and working with some exciting people and the partnerships behind the scenes, what coming through. Hopefully we can really deliver.
So, okay, so you guys are in this, you guys survived through one of the crypto winters, obviously, and, not deterred, you're building something right now. So let's talk a little bit about it. So because like the problem is, I feel like a lot of people don't understand the purpose and the use case of a prediction market because there's so many use cases for it, right? So how did you come up with this whole idea of Totem? How does that work?
Yeah, so I think we were seeing DeFi summer 2020, like a lot of staking coins coming out. There was a real boom for the proof of stake concept idea, really came to fruition, and we were seeing, okay, a lot of functionality was just around that staking. And people in crypto, they want a bit more excitement. They want that gamification. So we're thinking, what can we do to add that additional functionality, that additional rewards, and that excitement that the people in crypto so need? So we thought, okay, why don't we bring these staking pools into prediction pools? So we're protecting that guaranteed returns where you're getting that staking returns, but you're adding on top the functionality to predict what will be the price of something, say BTC, at the end of those staking pools. So on that maturity, so a 10 or 15 day pool, what's the price of BTC at the end of that? And then the second thing on top of it is, how can we additionally protect that ROI? We're seeing in those DeFi predict protocols or just any DeFi space, those ROIs are quite high, which can bring inflation to the ecosystem. So we wanted to additionally give away BTC rewards to protect that ROI for our community. So that's really some of the sort of initial foundations of what we're trying to build. And I think we've evolved slightly. So we obviously going to be talking about the Mooncaster events, but the real vision there is to sort of create something that's innovative, engaging, and rewarding to interact with the prediction markets and the wider crypto sphere. So with the Mooncaster events, we're going to be securing some other stuff, which is going to be exciting for our community.
Yeah, and I think
have anything to add on top.
Yeah, exactly. It's really the gamification of staking pools, and another key aspect is that we're not putting risk on people for this gamification. You're still definitely getting your reward, and we've seen a lot of good prediction markets, or they're still developing, but there's a high risk when you make your prediction, you will lose your stake, and so that's the kind of really innovative thing that we're trying to get to work.
Yeah, and I think the whole concept of prediction markets is very interesting, right? Because it's very hard to discuss, but what we do know is that it's being used in a lot of large companies to predict and forecast what people think will be, like, say, iPhone sales, right? Or maybe something like how well a product will launch, and this kind of bleeds very well to what the prices of something like will be in the future. I mean, we have the question that everyone asks, like, what's going to be Bitcoin's price in 2025, right? And obviously everyone's got an opinion, right? But the problem, of course, with the way that media presents it is that they'll interview some guy who's super bullish about Bitcoin and some guy who's like super bearish about Bitcoin. You're like, oh, it's going to go to 0 and it's going to go to 5 million, right? And you have this huge giant spectrum. You have no idea what's going on. So I feel like the whole idea of a prediction market and forcing people to put money where their words are is important.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's kind of the basis of it, right? So instead of like saying, instead of just talking, you have to, allocate, show me that you believe in this, right? Make that prediction. But you guys put a spin onto that. So you're applying staking to this, and you're kind of growing that out. So how's that experience like? I mean, obviously, you're kind of changing the way prediction market works. So you basically force people to say, okay, stake what you believe is going to be happening, right? But you don't lose a stake if it turns out not to be true. Right. So how's that dynamic work? Mm-hmm.
I think we're also doing some interesting things with the game theory idea with it. So we also have additionally the collaborative rewards. So that's where we want to see the aggregate sentiment. So what we do is, if the weighted average pool of predictions is correct within a $100 range of the actual Bitcoin price at the end of those pools, everyone gets an additional reward. So it's not a zero-sum game. There is a way that the whole pool can do better. So it's interesting to see, we'll be hopefully developing sort of sentiment gauges eventually of seeing, is the aggregate pool thinking we're going up or down in 15 days, and kind of releasing that to the community to see what people are thinking is going to happen. Like, can the crypto community do the impossible and predict the price of Bitcoin and eventually other assets?
Yeah.
So the eventual mechanics of this is going to be, you have your totem, so you stake 1,000 totem into these predictor pools, and you say, I think BTC is going to be 62K in the next 10 days. And then what happens is you get your staking return for those 10 days. So an APY, say, I think at the moment we're going to be offering 60%. And then at the end of those 10 days, you get an additional reward in Totem and BTC based on the accuracy of your prediction to the other predictors. So if you place second, you'll get $2,000 of BTC and an extra $600 of Totem on top of your staking returns. So what you do there is, even if you are outside the top, say 25, and don't get an extra rewards, you still get those staking returns for that duration of the 10 days.
And of course,
so you're rewarding people to be accurate. Sorry for that interruption. So you're rewarding people to be accurate, right? Like the closer they are, the more rewards you are. So So that's good. That's interesting. So forcing people to make a very accurate prediction of what's going to happen and carry on with what you're having.
And I guess the way that we're going to pay for this is on the background trading volume. So there's going to be a 3% recall on the background trading volume and when people interact. And so very small, and therefore that's rewarding people for engaging with the DApp. And that's how we're going to pay for these Bitcoin rewards, as opposed to taking people's stake.
Got it. And I had an issue with that, of course, because like obviously if you take a 3% trading from the trading side, doesn't that discourage traders from getting into Totem in the first place?
So that's more on selling rather than the purchasing. So to purchase, there's no 3% fee on that. But of course, like everything's to build something that's innovative and not taking away people's stake. We wanted something where people who interact with the ecosystem have more of a benefit than people who are just here to speculate on the token. And I think we're trying to get comfortable with really trying to deliver high value, high quality products that are going to be worthwhile. Like if you buy and then you just are utilizing the products, you're going to be benefiting rather than just people to speculate purely on the token. You know, as we evolve as an ecosystem, that 3% might be reduced to say 2.5, 2% as we increase the trading volume, release the products. There's more movement on there. But yeah, so that's the main idea.
Awesome. Because I think that's the harder question, right? How do you generate revenue from all this? And obviously it's by delivering more products and something that came along, right? So something that you guys have been, really excited about. And I think I jumped up and down about was with Mooncaster, right? So can you tell me about what's going on there? What's the fun stuff going on?
Yeah, this is really exciting. And I mean, we were chatting before about, kind of CZ and, I think as someone that's like moved quickly, that this was kind of an opportunity that came to us while we're still building our main product. We noticed there was a space, sort of gap in the market. The launch pads are booming. Every day there's a new launch pad and they're, Polka this, Polka that. And what we thought is we could be an interesting add-on to the launch pad. So when people are doing their IDOs, lots of people want to get an allocation, and it's normally just done on a lottery system. So what we thought is we could allow people to predict how well they think the IDO would do. And therefore they would stake their totem. And once they stake their totem, they can then predict that we haven't quite worked out if it's going to be the all-time high or the closing price in the 24 hours. And this will allow people to have predict how well IDOs are going to do. And if they win, they'll get an allocation at strategic round. And the initial response from projects has been great. It allows all of our community to jump in and expand their network. And yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think it just provides a kind of innovative way for people to interact pre-IDO or pre-launch. When these projects are coming up, they've had a month or two run up in terms of building their Telegram communities, building their Twitter, building their Discord. People want
everyone wants to know, right? Everyone wants to know what's the price going to be. Right.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, and Michael, you said it earlier, like put your money where your mouth is. So there's a lot of people in the space that are saying, "Oh, I'm doing this," but if they've generally believe it and they've staked it on Totem, and we're going to make it like a nice share screen. I've staked this and I believe this, and it almost gives that I actually do believe this, and I put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah, so I mean, we're developing a sort of we'll do like the bespoke moon sheets for each project and be sort of sharing those, and it's just a good way for all the kind of influencers community to get involved with these pre-IDO Mooncaster events to get an allocation, because obviously everyone knows how difficult it can be on some of those whitelisting sort of events. It's just the oversubscription is just insane.
So what this is really not just a launch pad, but it's a launch pad. It's kind of a way to get a prediction of what's going to happen next, because everyone wants to know these numbers. Instead of just having moon sheets, you can say, oh yeah, this is what the Totem community predicts the price to be at. I think that provides value to the space, right? So I feel like that creates a lot more discussion, and it gets a lot more people kind of more knowledgeable about the stuff. So I feel like that's kind of exciting. So when is this going to be implemented? How is it going to work? What's the timeline for everything here?
Do you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, we've got some exciting partnerships going behind the scenes. I think what we're not going to be claiming to be the launch pad. We're kind of going to be working with a lot of launch pads and projects that are coming onto launch pads. So we've got a strategic announcement coming up with Pools, who are obviously doing a lot of stuff in the launchpad space. So that's going to be exciting. Obviously, we've got a close link to Duckstarter and all the guys over at DuckDAO. But we've got a few things coming on behind the scenes where we're going to be working with kind of our strategic VCs and also these extra launchpad and pre-IDO projects to sort of be a value add there. So the kind of extra marketing and excitement that we'll bring around it for that allocation that we get to give straight to our community. That's how we've kind of been working.
Yeah, and in terms of timeline, to begin with, we're doing MVP. So we got something called the Oracle's Den, and that's been an amazing little space that we've created. It's our sort of core community. You need 500 totem to enter, and then you join via bot, and it kicks you out or in. And so we're doing it on Telegram as a sort of MVP via a form. But longer term, in the next few weeks, we're building out a staking pool. So it will all be done via the DApp. But while we wait for the DApp to be built, we're actually hiring a lead dev. If any of your community are into dev, then hit us up. But yeah, while we flesh that out, we're doing it sort of in our oracles den. And it's amazing. Recently, they were calling the price of Bitcoin, and someone in the community called it bang on. And people are getting really, really passionate about those predictions. And it'll be amazing as a community when we start calling stuff right. And I'm just so excited for the actual tech to be built, because it'll make it a lot easier. But in the meantime, we're just really playing around with the mechanics and working with our core members about what they actually want. And constant iterations.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go on.
We're always going to be working with the community to improve at this stage. It's not going to be, this is how it's going to be, and that's set, and this is set in stone. If we can build something better, or they have good insight, we're always going to take that on board and see if we can produce a better product.
That's great, because I think that's the way a product should be built, right? Like definitely getting that feedback, making something useful. Obviously, you guys are jumping straight into it. I think I love that passion where you're like, okay, let's just make it, whatever. MVP first, right? Let's go. And, that's the best part. So for everyone who's interested, definitely join the den. I think that's the key here. Be able to provide that data and also get that new data that's coming in. I think that's all that always does help a lot of people, especially if people like who are here and they're asking the question every day, like, oh, what do you think crypto is going to be? Well, check out what the predictors, what everyone's putting their money to on Totem. I think that's a value there. So what other key dates do you guys have coming up? In terms of product launches and what's coming up here?
Yeah. So we're working hard, obviously, on the Bitcoin predictor pools and the other asset pools. They're going to be coming out in the next month or so. Definitely been working hard on the dev side. A lot of espressos been sent out to our devs across the world. So look out for beta testing. That'll be coming to the community very soon, and that'll be really exciting. We definitely want to take on your feedback on how we can improve that before we actually release the MVP. We're going to be releasing the Bridge Mutual widget, so our community can be protected on the smart contract. So that's an exciting partnership there. So Mike and the team over at BMI are just serious operators. Those guys are amazing. Then we've obviously got the
liquidity mining. So we'll have that coming. Plasma Finance. So they're nice strategic partnership there. Hopefully increase the liquidity. We're still working out the exact details, but that's coming this week. That's going to be pretty exciting. Lots of people requested that.
Yeah, that should be live in the next 2 or 3 days, which is exciting to reward the community for hodling and hopefully, distribute some of those rewards to the community. And then we've also got, as we mentioned, the strategic announcements coming up with pools and some of the other launch pads to help really boost the Mooncaster series. And that's going to be securing quite a few allocations, which are going to be like gold dust. So our next project is in a big NFT project. And it's certainly not one to be missed. I can't announce it right now, but it should be announced in the next couple of days. So definitely keep an eye out. Join the Oracles Den, and keep your ear to the ground, because it's going to be a big one.
Awesome. That's exciting. So definitely encourage you guys to join that Oracle's Den, and hope that I would love to see how this goes out, because I think this is a great addition to everything that's happening, especially, I think people love moon sheets, and that data is invaluable. So definitely interested, and hope you guys to catch up on the future releases for your products. And what I'll do is I'll leave the links down below. So for the Den and etc., I'll leave them down below. But I definitely want to thank the audience for watching today, and thank you both, Jolly and Harry, for coming in. And we'll hope to see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us. It's so great to tell you about your community, about this small gem, and hopefully next time we talk, we won't be just a gem and we'll have actually made it. But thanks so much for having us, Michael. We really appreciate it.
Michael, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.